Hello, everybody. We are live. I'm going to wait a couple minutes if you're watching this as a recording. You might skip ahead a couple minutes. I'm going to wait and let some chatters get in the box here. And otherwise, I'm talking to myself, and nobody needs that. A couple minute last minute things here. Uh, um, there we go. Susan, Stephanie, hi. Hello, ladies. Be right with you. Running a little behind. What's new? Anybody shocked? I thought I allowed myself enough time to wrap things up before I went head down into my desk. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so last week, I think some of you guys were here. We did some different watercolor and inks on Yupo. I'm gonna put these away. I'm not gonna use these today. I keep saying because I'm too distracted because I'm not organized. Shocker. Okay, here's what we did last week. This was my favorite out of last week. Got a little evil eye thing going on there in the middle, but a lot of action. Hey, Joan. Sorry for that last minute notice. Up really close, you can see how wispy some of this is. And this is just the action of some of the inks and watercolors when they lay on Yupo. For those, you guys probably all know what Yupo is, but for those of you who don't, it's almost plastic. It's a non-porous surface. So where watercolor paper is cotton and it absorbs what you put on it, this doesn't. The water that I spray on here and just it lays there, and some pigments move more than other pigments. So as this dries, and it takes a while to dry, as it dries, stuff's still moving. The salt is granulating, and the watercolors, if there's a granulating watercolor on here, it's granulating. You can see out in the fringe here some of the salt where it laid in the water and broke up and got real fine. Like, see, it looks like glitter when it hits the light right. And some of it stayed in bigger blocks, and some of it, can you see them, went into the little squares. I'm telling you, it's a mystery every time I look at it. But that was my favorite. It's actually pretty round. Imagine that. The other ones are okay. This is the last one I did, and I don't know if you guys can remember it or not, but this was much darker. Hey, Ellen. Who else we got jumping in here? Linda, hi. Susan, I think, was here. And Stephanie, Joan. So you can see as this evaporates and the salt pulls in a lot of the pigment, it gets much lighter. And this piece up here, this gauze I put on up here, that was almost all black. It just pulled in all the pigment. If you can see the salt crystals on top there, they really drew that pigment in. So I'm going to knock those off because they're not going to stick. I'm half tempted just to pull this off and see what kind of I should have left it on. It didn't leave much of a texture. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Don't know till you try. There is a little bit of a texture in there, but not as prominent as it is sometimes. There it is. It's very fine. It's a fine, but it's interesting how the pigment that was on there is now just on the frame of that where it got absorbed up into the cotton gauze. But it's got some interesting bits in it. See how pastel and all those different colors of the pastel are watered down out there. It's got some moments of genius. Hey, Devin. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do today, here's another one. This is where I use the bronze, and I just put dots of it around here. This was the Iridescent Bronze Fine High Flow by Goldens, my go-to color. It just was too thick, even at a high flow consistency, to move in the water. I'd have to really water it down and try it maybe. But that, as much water, you guys were here, I put a ton of water multiple times around those dots of color to get it to bleed. It wasn't having it. Actually, I think the turquoise you see around here is the other pigment. You know, when this stuff sits, it separates into the bronze and that turquoise pigment. So, you know, there's, again, bits of genius. This was the one that was the total flub up. I was shaking a bottle of the copper, and the lid was leaking, and it splatted everywhere. So I just kind of went with it, threw some salt and gauze and water down, and let it see what happened. And that's what happened. But yeah, you can see on this one too, all the turquoise kind of went out on the fringes. And the metallic's heavier. It makes sense that it just kind of lays where you put it. This, not a fan. This is the Craft Plastic Black. That's a piece of that stuff that I used. And of course, I put all metallics on there because you wouldn't really see any non-metallic paints on here very well. Hey, Kathy. Yvonne, hi. Welcome. So I'm not a fan of that one. And this one did not do anything that I thought it was going to do. I don't know if there was too much water on there. So this was my Masha Ultramarine Magenta and Serpent Green, neither of which you see because it broke down, it separated. The salt did crazy things to it. And look how fine the salt broke down on this one. And it absorbed a lot of the pigment. And the rose gold I put in there just kind of, it kept it pooled in the middle. So that was really unexpected. For what was in my head was not what was on the paper. So I think what I'm going to do today is I will not be beat by the Yupo. I shall continue. So I'm going to go back to a palette that I used to use doing these that I really liked. I had, these are the Radiant watercolors. I have Saddle here. It's a brown. I'm going to pull the black, the juniper green. No, not the juniper green. I don't want that in this. Imagine that. Oh, in a world where I don't want turquoise. What else did I use with that? The rose gold. Oh, what else did I use? Let me stick my head in here and see if anything makes sense. Oh, mahogany. I think I used mahogany. That's a different brown. It's all starting to come back. And I made some pieces that I ended up, I liked them so much that I mounted them on cradle boards. And I don't know if you guys, some of you guys will remember, I was mounting them. Actually, we did a class in Maryland on this. Joan, you'll remember, where we did it on stuff on Yupo, and then we cut it. I wish I had one here. Oh, I do. I have one hanging up on the wall. Oh, let me go run and get it. It's half a flight up. Chat amongst yourselves. It's hard to explain. So I show you. It's a different color family though. Okay. I love these long skinny pieces because they can go just about anywhere and fill in a gap, you know, where other ones wouldn't. Now, this is a completely different color family. Actually, I did this one in class there. Who else is here? Joan, April. You weren't there that year, April. Um, anyway, this is the one. I got to kind of put it sideways. But this is the one that I did in class. It's on a cradle board, painted the sides black. Put my little chop on there. PTP on the bottom. And I think this is the one that the guy asked me, like, what things do I really like? And anyway, so you can see, what did I use in this one? This one's really pretty, actually. That's why it made the wall. I know this is Lunar Black, which I'm going to pull out and use Daniel Smith Lunar Blue, Rose Gold. This probably was the Radiant Violet. And I think I use the metallic over the gauze I put there. I believe was Kramer. Oh, that's nice, Joan. Kramer Pacific Lagoon. It's a shifting color, goes purple, turquoise, green. And down here, the way this gauze went on, it really looks like it's still there. But it's not. And it looks kind of like a peacock feather kind of a thing with this eye up here and the rose gold. And then I lifted some of the paint through a stencil on this one, which lifts really easy on Yupo. And this is a piece of corrugated cardboard. It was black, and I painted it with my rose gold watercolor. So I'm going to try to mimic this style of the watercolor on the Yupo, which is, edge to edge color. And then I cut a piece, to fit on here with like the Yupo art. I did it in light colors so that like colors, not light. So anyway, the one I did, I wish I had one here. I gave one to my nephew when he moved in his house because the color matched perfectly. I'm going to try something real quick. If I can't find it in a couple minutes, we're going to give up because I'm looking at 20,000 pictures. I know. Crazy. But I think it's closer to the top when I was doing these because it's a number of years ago. I don't even remember how long ago it was that we did the class, Joan. Because we haven't been doing classes the last few years, right? Yeah, it gives it a really nice texture, Susan, I think. Let's see. I deleted a lot of my old art pictures. I take so many pictures of some stuff so I can pick and choose which ones I want to post about it. And I never go back and get rid of all the duds. I really need to do that. It's getting out of hand. Okay, this stuff is on Yupo. Okay. We may be sneaking up on her. Okay, these are Owen of an infant. He'll be 7 in January, so it's about 7 years ago. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, hang on, there's more. Oh, okay. So here, this is the color combination. That's not the piece of art. That's just some of these colors that I picked out. And look how feathery they get when they spread out. Hang on, so I'm sneaking up on her. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Got it. That doesn't really show you so much. It's hard to see. And all the lights reflecting. Come on, I need better lighting. There's another angle. Right. Hey, Dot. What's the new one? Use masking powder on Yupo. I do not know, and I wonder. Oh, here's a video trying to show it. Let's see if this moves a certain way so you can. Yeah, cradle board, blah blah blah. Oh, this one I had several pieces of corrugate. A corrugate on the bottom of that one. Of course, it's off the screen. There you go. In the middle. Won't focus. And the top. So that had 3 pieces of corrugate on there. I must not have had as big a piece of the Yupo to put on this board. And I took up the space that was missing with, extra corrugate on there. Anyway, let's not get too bored over that. Okay, so let's get this ready. I want to get some lunar black. Oh, this palette I was going to use is a mess. Oh no, this one's not too bad. I'll use this one because I know what those other colors are. That's a miracle in itself. Lunar black. Here we go. This is one of my faves. I'm going to put some of this here. And I use a lot of pigment when I do these too. Lunar black. Lunar blue. Here we go. Little lunar blue. I'll put that up here because if I want the inks, I'll have another slanted bit to put those on. I'm not going to put lunar blue in this particular one though. What else? What else? Of course, I got watercolor all over my hands now. Okay, so the way I did that, oh man, I should have had clean water. Crapola. Hang on, this is really heavily pigmented from last week, still sitting here. I don't even think I've been down the basement since then, other than to go to the garage to leave. Oh. Chat amongst yourselves again. I'm not even going to clean it out. Just dump it, rinse it, and build her up. Okay. I need a bigger brush. I think it was this one. Is this a 12? Yep. I think this is the one I used to use. That's a silver number 12. And let's see what happens. And usually I did these. Hey, Eddie. Whitney. Oh, Whitney Boudreaux, please. Why are you stealing Whit's account, CB? Are you trying to sneak in? Oh, you're on your phone. Okay, so I'm going to put, this is the turquoise and purple that's in there. I'm going to put some saddle. That's one of the ones I used most in this. I don't remember what that is. That's probably this black. I betcha. I'm going to put a good bit in here because I use a good bit. To put a mahogany over that so I remember that's more of a reddish brown. You can kind of see it in the tube. Well, maybe you can't, but it is, trust me. And I'll just refresh this black here. Or no. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna put this over here-ish, so I can move this up a little and maybe zoom you in. Hey, Nancy. Okay, so if I remember how I did this. Oh, thanks. They're very small bits, but they are there. Oh, Lord. What are you going to do? So I'm going to, with a really wet brush, it's going to be in my elbow for sure. And I'm going to start with some saddle, I believe. So I'm going to grab some of this Radiant Saddle. And I'm just going to slop it down here. All these brush marks will come out of it. And then I'm just going to dip a little tip of that of the mahogany in there and see what that does. And then I'm going to clean out the brush a little bit. I like these too a lot. I have a ton of different brushes and I use different ones, but I do like the black velvets. So this, I'm just going to dot it on the ends here and watch how this will start to pull this, make it move a little bit. And now I'm going to grab some of the Lunar Black, Daniel Smith. It's a granulating color and it does really lovely stuff on the Yupo. See how that's starting to travel up there and push back on the rose gold? And I'm just tap, 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 tap all along here. I might just tap a little bit of that off and let it do something in there. I hate to waste the pigment, but hey, Janet. So let's go back to the saddle and see what this does in here. See how dark that comes out and see how it lightens up here? And see, this is pulling the black, the Lunar Black is migrating into that and doing those lovely things. And see how this is resisting here? These bits here, it must have been oil mark on there or something. Sometimes you can take your brush, bend the bristles, and then take the end of the brush and kind of scrub in there and then try it again. And sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. Sometimes it won't. So now, let me try to lift this if you can see this. I don't want to mess it up. But where the black is touching the saddle, see where it's pulling that pinky color along that fringe there out of the saddle? Very interesting. I'm going to grab some more rose gold now because I don't have the rose gold up here against the saddle. Let's see what happens here. Now that's pulling the brown. The brown that's pushing into the rose gold. It's funny, some colors you put on here barely move. A lot of the metallics, because they're heavy, they got, you know, metallic in there, as in metal. I'm going to let that kind of get fringy down here. And now see what this Lunar Black has done? Wait till I show you that close up. I'm going to have to go back in with a little mahogany to kind of, you know, get that. You know what? I'm going to go back in with Lunar Black first, though. I'm going to separate those browns this time because they didn't do much together there. Whoops. Oh, mercy. I mean, that's not a bad thing. It will come right off, but it'll just mix up when we get there. Don't panic. So here's Lunar Black. And then when that starts to touch, it's going to do magical things merging into this stuff here. And I use a lot of pigment. I don't blend, get some watercolor out on a palette and mix it up with water and then use it like that. It's going right from the tube onto my brush with a lot of water. Julie! Oh, what did she say? Oh, for Pete's sake. See, babe. Good Lord, girl. I'm just going to go with a little bit of this mahogany against this and see if how this plays together. The lunar black is having its way with this as well. Get some more full strength in there. See, it's not really doing much against this mahogany. That's really interesting. Same brand, similar pigment, and it doesn't care. Okay, so let's go back to rose gold. And let's get some of that blended in there. Now see, it's really pushing into the rose gold. And it did nothing with the lunar black. It's like almost a straight edge there. I don't like those straight edges, but that's what it is. I'm not watching chat too closely because this goes pretty fast. Sort of have to pay attention. I'm going to put a wider swatch of that here. Get that scrubbed in. Those two mixing are a really pretty color though. And I'm going to put lunar black on the bottom. When you guys see this close up, what this lunar black does, it's so cool. I think it's my favorite on Yupo. And I also like it with, I like the lightning as well. How that acts on the Yupo with the separation. Okay. Gayla! It's me! Okay, now I'm going to finish up with what next? I'm going to put some saddle because that did cool things with the saddle there. So I'm going to grab some saddle and put some of that down here in the corner. Oh, there's a big smudge mark right there. See if I can erase that, which I don't think I can. I think this tapping motion also encourages this kind of a, gives it some movement. So it's like running your hand, through water. It moves the water. Okay. Now I'm going to let this sit here for just a minute. I'm not wild about this upper corner here. I think it needs something. I'm going to drop some rose gold in there. Like where? Like between, I don't know. It's kind of cool though. Of course, can I resist? No. I'm just going to go right down this edge with it and mix all these colors with it and see what happens. It's not a masterpiece. It's just for maybe mounting on a wood what's that called? The boards, the oh, for Pete's sake, cradle boards. Thank you. Okay, stop while you're ahead. And all water with this water is already all mucked up, but that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna try to pick this up. Where's my board? Hopefully without too much disturbance. And I want to try to lift this up to show you what this black is doing. Now you couldn't do that any other way if you tried. Come on. Focus for mother. There we go. It looks like some kind of craters on the moon or something. I mean, I love that. And you cannot do it any other way that I've discovered. If you can do it another way, please tell me how. Right? So again, moments of genius, but it's only lunar black on watercolor. So I can't really claim genius on that one other than I did it. Daniel Smith one looks like satellite imagery. I know, doesn't it? And it will keep moving because it's still wet. You know, there's still some, not as much of a puddle on this as the way I was doing it, adding water with the sprayer last week. However, it is wet. I used a really wet brush and the liquid watercolors. So let's try. Let's do the same thing. But you can tell this Yupo is old. It's kind of yellowed around the edges. Like, do you seal your watercolors on Yupo? I do seal them. I spray this one here that I was showing you. This one's got a couple coats of Kmart varnish on there. But despite the, well, you can see the light in the background picking it up, the reflection up, but you can kind of see the sheen on there. There's a lot of metallics on there too, so the sheen's kind of mucked up in there a little bit. Now let's try Julie, are you coming to the States? I see you wanting to meet April and Gayla. What about me? What am I, chopped liver? Just kidding. Okay, I'm going to put some juniper green in here. I'm sure that's what that is. And that little bit right there. And I'm going to put violet in there. Yes, it's Kmart spray varnish, and it's for watercolors. So it won't reconstitute the watercolors and make them move again. It's a lovely thing. Getting a little low, but luckily I got spares of my two favorites. Oh, sure. Okay, so this one I'm going to pull in some lightning because I like what that does. I want to see how this interacts with stuff. I wonder, hang on, where do I have some somewhere in a very clever spot. Which right now is unbeknownst to me. I have, oh, here we go. In this palette, I've got some of that Pacific. You can see the turquoisey bits in there now, but that flashes a really strong purple as well. It's a shifter. It's a creamer pigment called Pacific Lagoon. So let's do this. Let's start with some lightning. And this is a Nibs watercolor, Nibs pens and inks. But I think on Etsy, I think she's just Nibs watercolor. Awesome stuff. She's making a lot really cool colors. And there's a color that she makes called Patti, which I believe is right there, that little metallic blue. Yes, it was for me. Okay, here we go. Let's start with some thunder. See how dark that is? Kind of matches my nails. And it wants to pull away from these corners, which I don't know why, but let's get some more pigment on there. I don't know why I go diagonal. I just do. I think the end result makes it kind of cool. Even if you take a little bit out of there, I just like the way it mingles. Kamar. Okay, now that's starting to break down already. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. I'm going to put Lunar Black next to it. I want to see what happens with that. Oh, it's bossy. Look at it pushing it back. Look at you. Oh, that's pretty already. In front of everybody. That's what I like to do at Gala. I'll pull some out and try some, Julie. I did some last week, but they were overpowered by some of the other stuff that acted differently when it was moving around. Let me get some rose gold in here before this settles. If you figure out the colors that really makes this Lunar Black push out, it's good to surround it, like put it on the above and below where you put the Lunar Black, and you'll get some really cool stuff happening with the black. I mean, it gets really light. It doesn't look like it's a dark black hardly at all. Here it's pulling a little bit. And that's not doing too much down here. Why? Do I not have enough water? Let me go back with a little more water in there. Or did that dry already? I bet that dried already because it's so thin right there. Let's try that. See what happens. Okay. Look at this. Okay, let's take, I'm going to wet a couple of these colors here. This butterfly and the ocean, I think that one's called. This is the Summer Lovin' set that I have kind of off frame up here of Lizzie Linka. And I'm going to put down, you know what, I think I'm going to go back in with the lightning. I don't need to get a bunch of other colors in there necessarily. Let's see what happens with the rose gold. Oh yeah, the rose gold's kind of eating that up. But that might put a really cool streak of this turquoisey purple through here. You can't hate turquoise purple, I'm telling you. I know Dot's probably not a fan, but that's okay. Trying to get a heavier, this coming out of the pan. I can't get as good a goop on it on my brush as I can one out of the tube. I'd love to have this in a tube. Wouldn't that be awesome? Okay, so let's see what that does. And now I'm going to put, I think I'm going to take this Blue Butterfly by Lizzie Linka. I'm really saturating the brush with this. And I'm going to go in here and see what happens. That's pulling the... Remember, these are all metallics, so they're heavy from the level of metallic or mica that's in there. There's so much water and pigment on there, I think it's just going to blend with the lightning, which may be magnificent. I mean, how could that be bad? I don't see how that's possible. Draw a little bit more down there. Make that a wider swath and let it have room to do its thing. What's good to know? Oh, the Lizzie Linka. Yeah, you can slap those suckers anywhere and it'll be a good thing. Okay, I'm going to go back with Lunar Black now. It's time for more Lunar. Okay, and I'm really going to get a good bit on my brush. Oh, look at that, pushing that back. It's so bossy. I love to watch that, though. It's so mesmerizing. Of course, I'm easily entertained, as many of you have witnessed in person. Doesn't make me a bad person. Now I dipped into the what's that called? The Radiant Black that was in that one palette by mistake. So let's see what happens here. That pushed that up so much. There's a purple metallic streak where all that Lizzie Linka is being pushed down from the lightning and pushed up by the Lunar Black. Oh, look how pretty you are. Okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to get some lightning in again and sandwich that, and hopefully it does what this one did up here to give me kind of a repeat. Squirrel. I see. Hey, Sophia. Good to see you. All right, let's go here. Back to the nibs. And you should check her out. She's got beautiful watercolors on her Etsy shop. Of course, everybody's going to need to have a half pan of Patti. Oh, Lordy. Now see where this is drier, where that's thin there already. I'm gonna tap back in there a little bit into the dry bit and kind of re-wet that, and let's see what happens. Okay. All right, now let's get a little more rosy in there. And then I'm going to, oh no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab this other Lizzie Linka, the Ocean. It's in this palette. This is kind of like a blue-green shifter with gold in it. Let's see what happens with that. These are so easy and quick to do. Long to dry. And you can't really, there's no skill in what, trust me. Gayla. No comment. Oh, look at this, how this came down in through here. That looks really cool. Oh, wow. I wish you guys could see this close up. This is doing really cool stuff. And all of this is funneling down through and blooming out into this. It looks really awesome. Okay. Let me do a little rose gold. Kind of don't want anything to happen to that, but you know, you got to carry on with the process. Let's go here and see what happens. Oh, good. The rose gold isn't taking it over. It's drawing it down. So those are going to blend. Hello, lover. Look at you. Okay, let's see the chat here. What are we doing? You can name this one Breach. There you go. I like the way you think. Amalia! Hello, darling. Okay, now we got to go back with some more lunar black. That is so... I could eat it. I won't. I'm just saying I could. I'm going to start over here. Whoa, look at that. Holy mackerel. That's going all the way up through here. We might end up with another metallic line of this Lysilinka down here, like we did up top. Holy moly, that stuff's good. Oh, Lord have mercy. All right, I'm going to go back with lightning in this corner and see if I can get more of this stuff. And that might be because we've determined last week that my desk is a little teeny bit off. Thanks, Joan. I love it. And that's pulling this down. See, if you get it before it looks like this up here, it's so spread out and thin it dries quicker. Then you can still get some of that action. But when it starts to lose the water, it's just laying there on the Yupo. It's no longer fluid. And you lose some of those properties. I'm going to dip up a little bit higher into that. And look how this is, the turquoise and the purple have completely separated there. So I'm just going to take some of that and just splatter it a little bit. See what happens. Okay, what should we finish up with? I'm going to put a Lysilinka down there. I'm going to try the purple one again. Or it's called Blue Butterfly. Kind of lavender, turquoise, lusciousness to it. Okay. And now, just because I can, I'm going to take the littlest bit of lunar black and put it down here and see what happens. It's a runaway. You can see that purple pigment's dancing in the lunar black as it moves. Love that. All right. Salvia. It's Patty's desk on the wonk. We think it is a little bit downhill this way. Sometimes it works to my advantage. Rarely, but I didn't put the lagoon in it. We're going to have to do another one. Crappity crap. Okay. I get too excited. I can't wait for this one to dry. See the breach? But look at that lunar black. Look what it did up here. Pushed all the purple back. And see that the dark purple line through there? That's the Lysilinka color that got sandwiched between two bullies. And it came all the way across like a dark line. But that's purple metallic. Look at this bit. Are you kidding me? And I wish you could see in here. Can you see the metallic the Lissy Lincoln. Now, I can't turn this to make it shift, but you can see that sparkle in there and down in here. Hello, lover. And actually, I can see that the lunar black is just about dry. This rose gold is just about dry, but there is a puddle through here that's sandwiched between the two dry bits, and here too. You can't hate it, people. I'm telling you. All right, let me find some real estate. Let me find some. Oh, I have to go up on top of my big flat file over here. I kind of like how that's the breech there. It's really good. Okie dokie. Now I'll have to figure out what I can mount some of these on. And if I do, where the hell am I going to put them? I really am running out of wall space. Okay. Here's my Yupo. Here's another piece. I'm going to try some of the non-paper too. Nara, not Nara. What am I talking about? Must be hungry. Patty, can you put it upright so we can see it better? I'm not sure what you mean by upright. You mean the one I just took away? I can't do anything with it on an angle because it's all really fluid on the top. Oh, you mean take that other one and do this? The whole thing would have breached down the paper. It's soaking wet still. It was a joke. You knucklehead. I was wondering. I kind of thought it was, but I was trying to figure out your angle. Like, she must need more coffee or something. I know she knows better than that. Okay, so let's remind me of the Pacific Lagoon. Gayla, that's your job. That's your only job. Okay, this time I think I'll start out with I might put a little of this juniper in here. This is a really pretty color. Just a little bit up here. And it's a strong color. That's a radiant called Juniper Green. I have Lunar Blue, April. I have some out on the palette, actually. As I recall, it doesn't do as amazing as the... I'm going to get that up into where some of those puddles are so that moves and doesn't just lay there and be a beautiful blue. Let's make it work for its money. Okay, now Pacific Lagoon, Lunar Violet, and Earth. I might have Violet. I'm not sure. Okay, this is the creamer pigment, the Pacific Lagoon. This stuff is magic. It looks white in the pan, and you can see a little bit of the turquoise in it, but it is spectacular. When you can see the shift, that's one of the best shifting pigments for the blue, purple, green bit. All right, let's get some lunar black in there and let it have its way with this stuff. Look at that. Now that's running uphill, right? My desk goes this way a tad, and that is strong enough to push back and go uphill. She's a climber. Get some up here and see what that does. Look at you. Holy schmolies. I'm going to put, you know what? I'm going to put a little bit just up here, because this looks a little boring up here to me. God forbid. All right. Let's go back to lightning. And see, this is drying pretty fast down here. So we gotta keep moving. I gotta ignore Gayla's snarky comments. Stop looking at the chat. Do my work. So that's the lightning. This is cool where this is breaching over here. I like that word. I feel like the lunar violet moves a little more than my black. Maybe because lunar black is a stick. Oh. Oh, I see. Okay, let's try to get some of this down a little bit. Make that a little wider. It's already starting. You can probably see that on the screen there. Let's get a let's go a little Lizzie in here. You know what? I think I'm going to go with the Aurora, sorry. Wrong A color. I might have to let that sit there for a minute. I didn't pre-wet these because I didn't know which I was going to use. Look what's happening over here. I think the breach is working for me. It's by Kramer, Susan, Kremer. Me and Xandra, and I think, Joan, I think you bought some of the pigment when we were up for our watercolor class many moons ago. You can buy it online too. And they have a New York, it's German. If you're in the States, they do have a New York store you can order from. So this is the Aurora by Lizzie Linka in the Summer Lovin' set. You can't hate this, people. Okay, what am I going to do? What am I doing? What am I doing? I think I might come back with something spectacular. I did have a plan in my head. You know what? I'm going to just a little teeny weeny bit of the violet radiant. I'll just get a thin line. I don't want this color to take over. And sometimes it breaks down and it turns pink when it dries. That one I showed you that I took off my wall that had pink in it, that was this. It doesn't all the time. I think it's just a matter of how the pigments lay. As it's drying and how they break. Oh, you know what? I wonder. Well, hang on. Let's not. This look. I can't distract myself. Patty, oh, what a good catch for Patty. Oh, bye, Sophia. Glad you were able to jump in. Take care. Okay, let's do. Let's do a little rosy gold. See what happens here. Look how that's pulling the purple in. Violet. I'm making that jaggedy there for a reason. I really am. Okay, now I think we should come back with more lunar black. Let's see what happens there. It's getting bossy again. She's a bossy color. Getting just the tip of my brush wet again to pick up some more. Look at you. Now I want to get something else down there. When in doubt, go lightning. And this is still kind of wet, so I want to see what happens here. Getting a little ring of that on here. Amalia, you were in the class when we did these in Maryland. I'm sure you were. I think you've been there every year since the second one, I think. Have you been there every year since the first, except for the very first one? All right, let's get this a moving, people. Get that a little bit wetter. That one needs a little more water to break down. I'm going to war, all right. Okay, let's do let's do a little bit of that juniper again. I don't want to go crazy with it. I just want to get another of that bit down here. If you get too much, oops, I put my finger in it. All right, that's not moving much, is it? Let's do a little rosy down here. So that really doesn't move much on its own. That's getting her going a little bit. It's a beautiful color, though. It's called juniper green, but in person, it leans more to a blue turquoise than a green turquoise. Okie dokie. Guess what's next? What class are you talking about? Where we did the watercolors like this and then mounted them on cradle boards. On the Yupo, mounted it to cradle boards and then trimmed it with corrugate cardboard that was painted with metallic watercolors. I'll show you the one I did in class here in a minute. I have it behind me. I showed everybody what I was trying to say. I had to go up and take it off the wall to explain it. I'll show you in a minute. See all that black I put on here? I'm scraping the last bits out of there. Okay, now what's going to go in? I better put thunder down there. Thunder? Yeah, because that's metallic and the black. Let's put some thunder. There was a set that Nib sold. I think it was called Summer Storm several years ago. And this was, the lightning was one of them. And one I think was thunder. I think one was actually sun. I can't remember all of them, but that was a set. I don't know if that set's still available or not, but they were all yummy. Maybe in this little teeny tiny piece down here. I don't have enough black left. Let me put this radiant black down there and see what happens. Okay. I'm telling you. Okay, I see a lot of caps I missed, maybe. What about class? Oh, it's just rare. I did not miss them. Look at me. I didn't miss it, Gala. Okay, hang on. I'll let that sit there a minute. This is the piece I was talking about, Amalia. I took it off my wall that did on cradle board, and people did different sizes of it. But this is, see the lunar black, what it was doing in there? Hello, lover. And I had some gauze I put down on this one with some lunar Pacific Lagoon on it. Black corrugate painted with rose gold watercolor. And then down here, this is, the gauze is off of there, but it looks like it's still there. It is not. It's smooth. And then I picked some pictographs up through a stencil. But that's, do you remember that now? Am I ringing your bell? Speaking of which, maybe I should throw some gauze down or something. Maybe some salt. Oh, I don't know. Okay, you were. I thought you were. Diane Bell, hi. A drone shot of islands. It looks like, it's crazy what it looks like, honestly. I love it. Okay, let me figure out where I'm going to move this one. But now look. Looks like a little whirlpool in there or something. Or is that an eye? Who knows? Maybe it's a tornado. The eye of a hurricane. This wire for my camera is kind of in the way. See what that violet is doing up against the, I think the juniper with rose gold in there. And then we're back. Oh, hello, lover. I'm tempted to throw something in there. Back away. Back away. Okay, let's see if the first one's dry. Now it's got a couple little puddles on it. It's not bad. I'm sure I can move this one a little bit better now, but this has a little puddle of that saddle color on either corner of it. Here's the first one we did. I wish I left the mahogany out because that got real pinky purple. That lunar black. Let's try. Let me see what other, if I have any other lunars other than blue. Hold the phone. Oh, mercy. Let's see. Where are we? Lunar. Wonder what moon glow would do. Lunar blue. I don't think so. No, it doesn't look like I do. And those two colors, when I was buying Daniel Smith's, I don't think I would have gravitated towards those because they probably looked on a swatch I saw somewhere that they were more, you know, earthy. And I was more crazy bright. Yeah, no, I don't. Oh, I wonder what, hang on. Hold the phone. I'm going to pull out, just for gigs, Moon Glow and Cascade Green. Hang on, where we are. All these colors. Vortexes show up in your. I know, right? It's like I'm a living vortex. What would the Kuretake gold you just got do? I think it would just sink. The stuff here, I think it would just sink. We'll give it a whirl. Okay, let's make a selection here. What are we going to use? I'll put a little. I got to get more lunar black. Is that my last tube? Oh no, I gotta back up. Don't anybody panic, because I went through quite a bit of that. You guys saw what a lump I put out there. It was a glob that would hold a normal person quite a while. That's all I need to say. You can take whatever you think was implied in that. You can go with that. Let's do Cascade Green. I'll put that over the. Well, I know what that is when I see it. I won't have to guess at that. I was going to say I'll put it over the Juniper Green to keep my greens together. And this little small deal over here. Oh, mama, red and gold might look good. It might just look good. You're right about that. What a turkey, red gold. Ooh, I kind of little goo come out with it. Okay. Oops. I'm going to screw that one on the ground. Moon the Glow. Let's put that in the purple bin. Okay. All right. Am I out of that paper? No, I got a few more sheets of this. You know what? Let's try the. Well, let's just stick with what we know. Let's not get crazy. Come on, baby. Work with mama. Work with me. This is a smaller piece. That's okay. This is bigger. What is this? Oh no, that's 12 by 12. I have this narrow paper. It's not as heavy weight as these pieces of Yupo are. We'll just try this. Okay, we will go with I'm thinking, can you tell? I have a, what is that? I think that's a hot pink and a quin, 2 quins, a coral, and I forget what they are in this old palette. I do not know. Okay. Focus. Since I put the green and the moon glow out here, let's do that bit first. And why was I doing that? I thought I had a plan. This one's a different bottle. Yeah, this is drop of shrimmer. Drop of I can't say it. Drop of shimmer. Hello. There she is. Is yours? I don't know, Gayla. I'm working with you. I thought you were working with me. Apparently not, but that's okay. I'm thinking of reds. Dot said red. I like to do what Dot says too, you know. So I don't really have much red. Refuse, right? Pyrrole Crimson, Carmine, Quin Fuchsia, Quin Coral, red oxide. These are really all kind of close. I'll go with a dot of the carmine I'll put in here, and then I'll use these other reddish ones, red and orange I have over here, and we'll mix some gold in somewhere along the line. You know how Dot is. Once she starts harping on something, it's all over. Let me get some gold, another kind of gold. Let's use this palette from Lizzie Linka. This has a gold in it. This is the Christmas Merry and Bright palette that they offered this year. We'll use that gold. I'm going to put a drop of water in there and get that bad boy loosened up. What time is it? I got to watch for Z. I know, right, Gayla? And if Don ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Learned that the hard way. All right, I'm going to loosen these two up over here too. All right. It's enough of loosening up. We're all stretched out now. This water is so bad. Maybe Xandra could get a much-deserved Sunday nap. What happened with Xandra? Uh-oh. Oh, she's not streaming today? Oh, poop. I was talking to her earlier, and she had planned on it. I know she said she was having storms, so hopefully she didn't have a technical issue. Okay. Let's talk more action. Oh, hang on. I might have a... right before the action starts, I might have a red. Oh, I do. I have scarlet. Hey, scarlet and persimmon. And I'm going to go with scarlet. And the radiance. Okay. Now, this water is pitifully dark. So you streamed all week last week. Yes, she did. She streamed, I think, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 5. All right, let's get her done. I'm going to grab some of this carmine since it's here first. Looks very Christmassy. Actually, CB's probably all over this too. She's kind of a red gold girl. Now let's put... How am I going to do this? Let me put a smaller brush in here and grab some of this. And let's see what happens. Nothing. She's not moving one bit. Well, that's not any fun. Okay, let's, before that sits too long, let me grab Little Lunar Black. That's going to make it work. That's going to do something, I think, unless that gold is just too heavy. That's moving a little bit. Hang on, let me find something here real quick. Here is a different color, Make-A-Wish collection. That doesn't look like the right red that I want, though. I'm going to go with this one from the fall set. This red in the middle here. Let me get this wet. We'll see how that one looks. Running out of room. I was trying to get some of that in this red before it gets too boring. We're just laying there red. Is that going to do anything? I don't know. See, I'm in unfamiliar territory with my ways. Now that's kind of doing something. But I think that gold, we'll try it again in another streak. But let's go to another red. Let's go to, I might have to rinse this water out. Ooh, that's nasty. Even the water coming out of my brush is blackish. Let's just go with a blend of whatever these queen colors are here. We're going to get a little mix up. Can't be bad. I think that's maybe, I know it's queen coral is one of the little lumps in this pan. And I think the other is quin burnt something, sienna, maybe. Let me grab a little bit of this and blend it in there. They're just not very active pigments, are they? Oh, let's try putting some of this. This is another creamer pigment. You can buy this in a pan, and it's called, I think, Indian Summer. It is gorgeous. Gorgeous color. It's like bronze, red, gold, all kind of mixed up. Get some of that spread out a little bit. And then lay the black down again. And maybe drop a little bit of that gold over top of it. What'd I say? Black? I don't even pay attention to myself. How the hell are you guys going to pay attention to me? That's looking lovely. Oh, that's bringing some of that metallic down into the black. Can't hate it. Look, the black's acting completely different there. I'm going to go back and take a little more of this gold. I know. I'm telling you. Oh, it's not my palette. Let's drop a little bit of this in with the black and see what happens. I hope I'm not contaminating my bottle just dipping in here with these other piggies on my brush. Of course I am, but you know, what are you going to do? I got to worry about that. I got to worry about Gala. Okay, now let's get something. Let's try more of this red. This is the Lizzie Linka. I can't remember the name of this color. It's out of the Autumn Glow set. Oh, that's metallic on metallic. I shouldn't have done that. But now I'm kind of committed. I'll just do a little thin row of that. That's making that spread out. Okay, now let's see if I can get any more action out of this carmine color. Carmine's kind of blah. It's a pretty color, but it's not much movement. Maybe mixing it with these guys, it'll do something. Let's do it every, mix it up. Yeah, not my thing. What happens if you put the paint down in random patches rather than semicircles? You get random blobs. All right, let's see what happens here. That carmine is a heavy pigment. The black is hardly doing anything, and you saw how it really takes over just about every other color. Interesting. Did I put down any of the Radiant Scarlet? Was that what that was carmine? I'm going to try that. I don't know how I'm going to do this because it's in a dropper and I'm out of spots. That's all right. We're going to do something crazy. I'm just going to drop it and then I'll mix it up with the brush with just some water on my brush. That's kind of a pretty color. I did try that at one point a while back, Dot, and it doesn't seem to be as loverly. Although this is not wowing me, I gotta tell you. Let's throw some rose gold in there. I know there's another gold in there, but Rosie doesn't care. She plays well with others. This rose gold is made out of a combination of some creamer pigments. If anybody's interested in it, Xandra sells it on her blog. You just have to contact her there. I have a little pan of it. Okay, I'm going to put another row of that on here. Or just lengthen this one a little bit. Got a little breach again. Except for, look at this, it's going up. I can never figure this out. Let's go lunar. See what she'll do. Oops, that was a lot of pigment. That rose gold's mixing with the lunar black. That always looks cool. But I can't give it a hello lover. It's just not in me to do it. It's not as purty as I was hoping it would be. Of course, I'm sure somebody likes it. Yay for somebody. Let's do another combo of this stuff down here. This is the two quins that are kind of squeezed in the same little pan in that palette. If I do another one, I really do have to change this water. It is black. Let's try a little bit of gold down here and see what happens. Probably not much is what it seems to do. I'll just dot it all through there. What's the worst that can happen? Mix it up, see what happens. Okay. Carrie Ann, hello. Nice to see you. All right, give me a moment. I'm going to go dump this water. I think it's contaminating the works. Oh, shoot. Well, that would explain why my heater's not working. I have yanked it out of the plug. I'm not even going to attempt that now. Oh, Lord, that takes, look at my water. It's pretty black metallic. Back in a flash. Maybe a flash and a half. Not as spry as I used to be. Gail can confirm that. It is crappy weather here today. It's been pouring down rain. Quiet with the winds, although it calls for gale warnings. And it was thundering like crazy earlier today. Now, where am I going to put you? The flat real estate's getting a little precious around here. So here's what this one looks like. The gold kind of gets eaten up. It's kind of prominent there. Oh, happy birthday, Carrie Ann. Well, there's your request. Hope you're happy, Dot. Where the hell am I going to put this? Oh, no. Oh, here's the stuff. We have, I mean, it's usually a disaster down here. More so now because to get the Christmas tree out of the closet that goes under our staircase down into the basement, and it's a split foyer, so it's a split staircase, and then it does a U-turn of a closet and back under the shorter part. The Christmas tree is all the way back in the back, so everything that's in that closet is now added to the mess I call my studio. Yeah, it's getting a little tricky to navigate, to tell you the truth. Okay, I need another piece of this. And I wanted to do something with I just wanted to play to see what the Moon Glow and the Cascade Green would do because they granulate. And I was also curious about this. I got a few beam paints a few months ago to try. And this I did like. This was Orca. The other ones were okay. This is so awkward to me. You can't put it in anything else that you're used to using. Just me. But yeah, I think the Ravens are supposed to be playing. Well, they're probably, I don't know what they did yet, but they probably canceled or postponed or something because I think they were supposed to play at 1. That will be a sloppy mess if they do. Okay, so let me move this one out of the way. And this one. Oh, no, oh, hell, I didn't put that one in there. There's all that water and that good pigment. I'll keep that out in case we want to use it. Um, so if I use Cascade Green, let's get her going. Let's just start with Cascade Green. This was always one of my favorite colors. And this is similar to one of the Masha watercolors. I think it's called Cobalt Green Hue. And it's got some granulates to like a blue and a green. Ooh, that was a lot of pigment. That's okay. Let's just get it off there. And let's throw something at it that's going to make a difference here. Let's go back to this Lysilinka Ocean. Let's get a line of that in there. Oh, that's traveling pretty good. And let's put in Lunar Blue. As I remember, this did really look pretty cool, but it didn't make as much of a... Look how that's got that sandwich breaking the pigment out of that, the shiny metallic pigment out of there. So this is Lunar Blue. Oh, that's looking pretty where that's granulating now and kind of dripping down. You can't hate that. All right. Oops, I wanted to use that other one. Just started fourth quarter losing 22. Ah, crap. They must be playing in a mud hole. Of course, we're a little bit away from the stadium. I mean, as the crow flies, it's probably... I mean, we can drive it in 15 minutes, but, you know. That's pretty. Oh, I wanted to try Moon Glow, too. So what was that? That was Lunar Blue. Let's go with some Moon Glow. See what happens. This usually has a purple, pinky gradation to it. Let's see what happens. Then maybe I'll add a little bit of water down here and let it have some elbow room to do its thing. It's funny how you're used to seeing how these granulate on watercolor paper, and how they do it here on this Yupo is it's like a delayed gradation, and it's got runny like lava drips through it of the different colors. I'm going to try some of this Orca. It's like a black metallic. Looks, I mean, it's got a lot of metallic in it. I don't know if it's black, blackety black. Maybe it's like in a dark gray or a Payne's gray or something. It's called Orca is the name of it. I can't get a lot of pigment on my brush for what I'm doing. I mean, most people wouldn't need that much pigment for what they were painting, but not to take away from the paint or the delivery system, but for what I'm doing with this bigger brush, it's a little trickier. Get it wet again. All right, that's kind of looking kind of cool though. See, Gail, I do much better with my color family. Let's try to put one streak of lunar black through there and just let it have its way with the whole works and see what happens. Let's try to roll the brush side to side and try to get all the pigment out of there. And these little splats that happen that flick off, they just kind of look kind of cool when they do their thing on the Yupo. I can see that metal of the orca. I'm going to put more water down here to try to keep this a little bit wet until I decide what color am I putting down there next. Actually, you know what? I might go back to the Cascade Green and see what it does with the lunar black. That's pushing up against it because see, it's going uphill. Even though the breach table wants it to go downhill, it's still going uphill. I'm going to add a little bit more water into this bottom bit. Let that move around a little bit more so it can do that. What gold did I put in there? Does anybody remember what I put in after that? Was it one of the Oh, that's looking really cool. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Don't want to rock my world order. Yeah, I'm gonna black out Dot. I'm gonna block her from my field of vision. Um, let's do it. You know what? I'm going with lunar black on the other side of that. And Mama, take more of that. That's beauty, miss, what that's doing. Now, will it do the same down here? We don't know. We just try. But that migrated up there, I think, when that was mostly dry and just crawled up into that lunar black. It's starting to do a little bit down here. Okay. What else did I put on there? Moon glow. Let's do a little moon glow again. Oh, and lunar blue. That's what it was. Let's go with moon glow. What are you going to do with the lunar black? Anything? That is so cool. Oh, Mama likey. Did I put lightning in there? I'm trying to think. That can't be just the moon glow with that blue in there. I don't remember. Well, let's do something crazy. Let's go get some Pacific Lagoon and put in here. Trying to get more off the brush. My husband walked by the TV. Oh, I always like Jim. He's my favorite of the two of them, actually, but let's keep that between us. Does anybody remember what I did up here? I think I did the ocean. So let's do the blue butterfly down here against what? Oh, look at that. Oh, 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 oh. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of water. That baby won't dry for a week. Trying to get some of that off of there. And end in what? Lunar blue? Oh, that's what that turquoise is. It's the lunar blue breaking out of the black. Okay. I mean the turquoise breaking out of the black in the lunar blue watercolor. You don't know what I'm saying. I know what I mean. It's a whole big bald spot right there. Can I fix that? Sometimes that'll do it. Sometimes it'll just screw up your brush. Oh, some of that's looking pretty yummy. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. So Cascade Green and Lunar Black love each other. I want you to try to see what's happened. See what happened where it just put lunar blue up there? Or lunar Cascade Green. Sorry. That's Cascade Green that breaks out into the green and the turquoise. And that's how it breaks out and what it looks like on Yupo. And then there was some Lissy Linka, then some lunar blue, then some, what's that called? Moonstone. No. What's that called? Moon Glow. Ah, then Lunar Black, which is almost invisible. But look what the Cascade Green does with the Lunar Black. Come on, focus really good for Mama. There we go. Ooh, that looks like a face, sort of, and like a nose and a mouth with black hair around the bottom edge. Is it just me? And this is a whole another little breach thing that happened down here. Oh, 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 oh. Hello, lover. Okay, where are you gonna go? Where are you going? Is this dry? That's almost dry. I think I'm gonna trade this for this one. That's up there. Bring this one back over here. Apparently, there's a couple little puddles. This is the first one. And I don't know if it's coincidental or what, but the puddles that are still wet are the saddle brown on all three areas. But see what this mahogany did? How that turned into that light pinky purple bit? But it's so cool how this granulates and just strings through the little streams of water. See if I can tilt it a little bit so you see the rose gold pick up in there, different places. You can't hate it. You cannot hate it. Now, what do I want to do? Let's see. I want to roll. What will this be used for? There's the question of the day. Um, you never know. Probably cut up. Uh, it's on Yupo. It's too bulky for collage, I think. I mean, I could collage on a wood panel with different layers and some Yupo, I guess. I'm looking at this and trying to figure out where that greenish color came from. I know that the saddle turns into like that pinky color that you see. And this was the mahogany that came out of dark red brown and ended up pinky purple. I don't know where that green came from. I was going to try to lift some up with a stencil, but this one's still too wet. I can't do that. Surely I'll drag the whole wet part around. Close that up. Oh no, that one's not even quite. But I can. Here. Let me see if I have a piece. Oh, you know what? Let me take this. This is nothing special. This was kind of like a test for myself some time ago when I first got the lightning and wanted to eat it. This is just lightning and lunar black and a little bit of salt, which that reminds me, I haven't done salt on any of those. Maybe I'll throw a little salt in those puddles. Anyway, you can see, what the lunar black does there. And the purple and turquoise from the lightning. That's all that's on there. But let me try to show you how easy. Now this is, I don't know, 2 or 3 years old, something like that. Let me find a stencil that I want to use. Of course, pictographs I think always look cool lifted up through there. Oh, let's see. Where the hell did I put that? This craft plastic. I wasn't wild about that on Yupo, gotta tell you. But we'll try it again someday. Not today. Not happening today. Oh, here. I was hoping to find the other one. Hang on. Sorry, right through my stencil drawer. Got so many of Joan's stencils in here. Not complaining. Really? Okay, here's one. I'll try that one. I was looking for a smaller one, and I found this one, the old ones, but I was looking for the new pictographs. Okay. So, generally speaking, all you need to do, let's just do a couple little areas here. Do I want to use a paper towel? Is that what I'm going to use? Let's try a little shop cloth. You don't want to use like a sponge and get it too wet. You could use a magic eraser if you had one handy, which I do not. So I'm just going to take a bit of a shop towel and get that. I'm going to spray it, get that a little bit wet. All right, let's see. It's supposed to be really easy. Hey, Fran. So let's see how easy I can make this, which means it's going to be complicated as hell. Whatever. Okay, I'm going to go. It's going to be really light See how that just wipes off of the Yupo? Oh, that's probably too wet. Oh, crap. Oh, well, some days you eat the bear, some days the bear eats you. Maybe I did use a magic eraser. Anybody remember from class? Oh, oh yeah, that that did nothing but hose that up. Okay, let's try. Since we've hosed it, it looks very shadowy. Let's try a couple little bits through here, and let's just on the damp side. That was just a light mist on there too, so you gotta have a barely, barely wet. I'm trying to do it in the darker areas. Not looking at chat. I do not want to know what Gail is saying. Gail, you were in that class. What did I do? It's kind of hard with the salt and stuff on there. Sorry, go on top using a sponge and black acrylic paint or metallic. Oh, thanks, Pam. They're my faves. That's a good idea. Enlarge them. I'm reading up the chat now. I'm reading backwards about scanning them. Yeah, good tip 2 minutes ago, Gayla. God love you. Let's try get something out of this blob over here. Just a circle, maybe, or maybe this squiggly, little squiggly fella here. There we go. That's all we need for that. That's not thick pigment there at all. That's just where the black, clear black kind of bled out. Well, anyway, pretend this went well. You can see what a like a shadowy little effect it'll leave if you think about doing it the right way. This isn't a very good one either because I don't have a solid dark area to really make it work. But here's the piece I took off my wall to show you guys today that I did in class years ago. And here's where I lifted up those stencils. And look how clean that came off. So, I don't know. I should have put some gauze in some of them, I think. I love the gauze. And this gauze had the Pacific Lagoon on it. Well, you can see that shift. You can't. You can just see turquoise. I see turquoise, purple, and green. But I live in a colorful dream world. Don't take my word for it. I'm not giving up. I'm finding one that I can lift up here a little bit better. Not that one. That's acrylic. That's still got a lot of salt. Oh, I'm not going to ruin my eye. My evil eye. This guy has salt kind of all over it. Can you hear that? It like, what is happening? 4 o'clock. Oh, 4 o'clock bells. That's probably not going to happen. This side over here is so pretty. Where it's just real wispy and light out there. Let's try something up here. What's the worst that can happen? You've probably seen that here. Oh, you know what? Some of these might be inks. I don't remember what I used because they're not coming up. It's probably a permanent ink. Oh, it came up really, really pale. Really pale. Ah, give me a minute. Let me find one. The ones with salt are not good candidates. I can tell you that right now. This is kind of a strange one to try it on. Of course, you can't see that, but I'm going to bring it over. Give me a minute. Ooh, that's kind of pretty. I didn't see that one before. Well, I made it, so I saw it, but I mean recently when I pulled the other ones out for you guys to see. All right, let's just try this one. This is on a piece of, this is one of my first experiments on Yupo that I did with the watercolors. And I used translucent, and I used that Ecoline 700 that's black, and it actually bled out to look like that. Up close, it looks pretty cool. Where the salt kind of really crystallized, they made it look like glitter. But this, let's just see if this will come up, because that was Ecoline 700. Let's just, for gigs, let's see if we can just get a character. Let's try this one here. Oh yeah, that's coming off. I don't have the touch today. Or I am touched today. I don't know that it matters. Let's try one that's got more of an open space to it. And this is barely damp. And see that activate, that little bit activates that back to black again. I'm just going to let that one dry and see what it looks like. Not a very good demo for this. But as you saw on my previous piece, it does work. Let's do this. See, you can just get a little shadow in there. Cece was the first one that I saw do that, and she did it with my stencils on her art, and I was like, oh my God, why didn't I ever think of that? She sent me a piece of her art that she did with my stencil. I have it upstairs on the TV console thing in the living room. Anywho, what time is it? 4 o'clock. Okay, I'm probably going to get ready to call it a day. Let's see. Is there any questions I didn't get? Does it matter how long the original has dried? I don't think it does. If it's watercolor. See, the problem is I use all kind of inks and watercolor, and who the hell knows when I walk away from it. I don't even know what I used as I was sitting here doing it, as demonstrated earlier. But if it is just watercolor on Yupo, I think it can sit there forever, and you can lift it back off with water, unless you sealed it with Kmart, which I do to the ones that I mount. Oh man, that one's looking pretty, but that's too wet to move. I'll have to show you those next time, or take pictures of them when they dry and post them. Hang on, I'm walking around to the dark side to see how the red one's doing. It's red. It's all right. Moments of genius, but overall, not my thing. Thanks, Dot. Yeah, this one's still wet. Well, I don't want to, since I'm not having good luck with my lifting skills today, I think I'm going to let it go. I'm going to bring this one over here to let this sit here and dry. And show you one last time kind of what that one is looking like. Here was the breach, and see how it ended up. Here's another little breach down here. But those little wispy bits they just tickle me. I love it. All right, kids. Thanks for popping in. I'm exhausted for some reason today. I wasn't even going to stream. Should have went with my instinct. But what the heck? Had some fun. Made some stuff that'll be usable somehow, somewhere. I mean, these would look really cool. If I was a card maker, these would look really cool. Like bits, strips, whatever for cards, die cuts. Um, Thanks, Joan. Is Saddle Ecoline? No, Saddle is one of the Radiant 13A. Doc P.H. Martin's Radiant Concentrated Watercolor Saddle Brown. These are fun little watercolors. What else? I guess that's it. All right, let's wrap it up before whatever happens next that shouldn't. All right, gang. You go give my brain a rest. Yeah, I really like those. I used to use them a lot more. So when I retire, I hope to stream more regular and actually use some of the stashes I've built up planning for retirement. Oh God, we'll see how that goes. Anywho, if I will stream sometime before Christmas, I'm sure. If by any chance I don't. Merry Christmas to those who celebrate. Happy holidays to everybody who celebrates differently. But I'll see you soon. I know that's a misfortune for Gayla. April, thank you. Gail is probably saying, get the hell off air. Yeah, Kathy, great. I'm glad you were here today. Thanks for popping in. 5 years. It'll go faster than you think, Pam. Trust me. Good Lord. I can't believe them. Well, I didn't think I'd make it this long, but I'll be 67 in April. Thank you, Jesus. I'll take it. Any day on the right side of the dirt's a good day for me. Hey, look, it kind of looks like my shirt. Maybe that was my inspo. Okay, shut up. Sign off. Like Shannon Green says, the end.